Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. And, Honorable Speaker, this is a moment for Kenya where we are looking at all of us. And I like the use of the word Singapore. Everybody, Kenya now talks about Singapore, a projection for the future. That we are, as a country, we have the ability, the willpower, and we also have the resources available. And we can harness our resources to actually reach that place where others reached earlier. Honorable Speaker, having said that, I want to look at the key proposed amendments to this bill, Honorable Speaker, so that those that may not know what this bill is about, this is not a new bill. This is not a new bill. That's why it's an amendment bill. Honorable Speaker, the railway development levy has been there 12 years ago. It has been there 12 years ago, Honorable Speaker. Initially, it was charged at 0.5%, at 1.5%. Now it moved to 2%, Honorable Speaker. Secondly, which is important, Honorable Speaker, where is this charged? Usually, this is charged from imports, Honorable Speaker, of goods. Importers actually pay 2% of the customs value of the goods payable by the importer at the point of entry for home use, Honorable Speaker. So that is a very important point, Honorable Speaker. So how has this fund performed over the many years? Over the 12 financial years, the levy has generated approximately 310.845 billion over the 12-year period, Honorable Speaker. And that is important, Honorable Speaker, averaging about 25.9 billion per year, including the partial year to 23rd February 2026. Total collections recorded are approximately 340.23 billion. That is fundamental to know about this fund. So it is not a new fund. It has performed at 25.9 billion per year average, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these numbers matter. These numbers are very, very important. They demonstrate that the levy has scale, and importantly, it has predictability. You can actually predict and know from the Railway Development Fund, this country will actually averagely collect 25.9 billion every year, Honorable Speaker. Those two characteristics are precisely what makes it suitable for supporting long-term infrastructure finance. If you know that every year you collect 25.9 billion, it is there, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, you can use it to plan ahead and say, in the next 12 years, I'll be able to collect 340 billion, and therefore I can actually plan long-term infrastructure development. And that is fundamental. I can see Professor Owen is listening keenly. Please listen keenly. On this one, I want to teach you a few things, Professor Oundo. I can lecture you a few things, and I want to go ahead and inform Professor Oundo. So one of the key proposed amendments is expansion of the purpose of the Railway Development Fund. There's expansion of the purpose, Honorable Speaker. And, Honorable Speaker, this bill, therefore, expands the mandate that requires refine, expand, and modernize the framework governing the levy. The framework governing the levy, Honorable Speaker, gets expanded in this amendment, so that it fully responds to present realities and future demands, as well as the need to develop and improve our railway network. Honorable Speaker, in this regard, the first key reform introduced by this amendment bill is expansion of the purpose of the Railway Development Levy Fund to include, and this is key, you can take notes, Professor, development, construction, upgrading, rehabilitation, management, and regulation of the railway infrastructure and related transport system. That is the expansion. That is how it gets expanded. Secondly, establishment of the Railway Development Levy Fund Board. You know, the initial levy, and this is very important and fundamental, Professor, you know, the initial one was just established by the Cabinet Secretary using a Gazette notice, you know. But this one now is established as a board. It will have a board that will manage it, Honorable Speaker. So that it used to be managed by the CS Finance wholesomely. But now we have a board, just like we have the NGCDF board, that will now be managing this fund. That is the second key characteristic, Honorable Speaker. Now, This is the most important. This is the most important. Securing additional financing using the funds. Honorable Speaker, the bill proposes an innovative and controlled financing mechanism by providing that not more than 90% of the fund will be used to secure additional financing for the railway. Honorable Speaker, waiting for 15 to 20 years for the fund to accumulate, so that after it has accumulated, then we say, now it has accumulated for 15 years, now we want to use it to do a new railway. Instead of doing that, Honorable Speaker, we can use the present fund that we have as capital for the development of the future, Honorable Speaker. This approach enables us to responsibly convert part of the long-term stream into capital today. And that is very important. Converting what we have to put capital, what we have today for capital today. So we can build the infrastructure now with the appropriate legal safeguards, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think I've said the most important, the fundamental. What is important, Honorable Speaker? This is a strategic leveraging of existing resources to unlock greater capital for the construction of transformative railway infrastructure. It will enable the country to accelerate railway development without additional taxes on our citizens. And I want you to underline that word. Without additional taxes on our citizens, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, the board will be accountable to the Cabinet Secretary and to Parliament, Honorable Speaker. The board will be accountable to ensure that the money that they get, even when they invest that money or they use that money to get more funding for development today, Honorable Speaker, there is transparency, there's accountability, and all manner of accountability, both to Parliament and the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable, is established in this new amendment that we are supporting. So accountability of the funds, with respect to accountability, the board is required to submit regular reports to the Cabinet Secretary in charge of railway transport at least every 3 months, detailing the inflows, the outflows, and balances of the accounts of the fund. Additionally, all transactions are subject to the Public Finance Management Act, the Public Audit Act 2025, and other relevant laws. And therefore, transparency, accountability, and compliance with the new law remains paramount as we amend this, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, expenses have been capped. Expenses of the board have been capped at 0.5% expenses percent of the total fund to ensure that funds are not consumed by bureaucracy. Honorable Speaker, concerning the collection of the levy, this bill clarifies that the role of the Kenya Revenue Authority Commissioner General to eliminate the potential institutional overlaps with the board. This is intended to enhance the operational efficiency in the collection and management of the fund. Honorable Speaker, this is in line with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Better, that drives infrastructure development, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable, my friend, Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to convince my friend, Professor Wundo. You know, I like his thinking. He's very objective. Sometimes he gives us insight into the things that we have not seen. And we like you for that. And you know, you have never really opposed anything. You have only tried to improve what we bring here. And I think that is what leadership is about. And that's what I expect you to do on this document. To document, without preempting his debate. I know he is a good Kenyan who wishes this country well. And the people of Funyula were right to elect him. But I want him this time to be elected in the UDA party, Honorable Speaker, so that he can be sitting in the think tank to help us see what we can't see, so that we can improve things, so that this country becomes better with the contribution of everybody, including Professor Wundo. And I want to thank you because you're going to see the light and come closer and help us, especially on an important bill like this, to help us improve it. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I support. You've been nicely mentioned, not adversely.
Honorable Wundo, you'll have a chance. Let's go to member for Tetu, Honorable Wandeto, then to you, Honorable Wundo. Then Honorable Kimingoi. So we just...
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this bill that seeks to amend the miscellaneous levies and miscellaneous fees and levies fees. Madam Speaker, let me say from the onset that as a country, we have lost 86 years of railway development. The last railway before the SGR was done in 1931. And we waited for a whole 86 years to do the SGR in 2017. Expansion of the railway is a good